Hey everybody, what's going on? Gilbert here. So I want to make a very special video today because, as you all know, today is the 10th anniversary of 9/11. And I've talked about 9/11 in the past throughout the years, but now that we're in the 10th anniversary, I mean, I just can't believe that it's been 10 years since the devastating terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. So I always wanted to tell my story about 9/11 because it has like a really big impact on me. Because what a lot of people don't know, and maybe I've said this before in the past, but the day of 9/11, well, I'll just put it to you like this. The week of 9/11, I actually had a job interview in World Trade Center number 2, and my interview was for September 12th. And I was, going to an interview to do security, and the day of 9/11, I actually was at home and I was actually getting ready. The day before would be my interview, so I was getting nervous. What to do? Prep for it, whatever. And so I remember that day like it was like yesterday. I was at home and I just got out the shower, and then I heard my mom was saying about how, look at the news. They had something going on down by the World Trade Center. So by then the first plane had hit, but no one really saw what it was. So the news were just broadcasting and saying, it could have been an accident, whatever. And then minutes later, we all saw the second plane hit the tower. And seeing that plane just go directly into the building was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, what the hell am I watching here? It was insane. It was crazy. And to watch it all unfold and see the buildings collapse was like, wow. I mean, my sister at the time, my second oldest sister at the time, was only working about 5 blocks away from the World Trade Center. So we all immediately in my family was thinking about her, and we was trying to get in contact with her, but the phones were not working. So that was a scary moment right there. And I always thought to myself, what would have happened if my job interview was on September 11th? It was only a day shy. And I always thought about that. What the hell would have happened if I would have went inside the World Trade Center during that day? What would have happened to me? And it's like one of those what if moments. And ironically, I ended up getting a job in that area. I ended up doing street security for 8.5 years with a Downtown Alliance, is a security company down there that kind of runs the Lower Manhattan area. And they would place me a lot at Ground Zero, and so I would patrol that whole entire area, that whole sector. And when I was down there, I started that job in 2003, and even 2 years after, the effects of 9/11 was still there. That whole area was just somber. It was depressing. The cleaning aspects of it all took about a good 2.5, almost 3 years for them to clean out all the debris. So when I was down there, the cleaning process was still going on, and I remember them having a really big wall on the side where people could write their condolences and just messages. And so I would be standing there, and tourists will come up to me, hugging me, thanking me for my service, crying on my shoulder, asking me if I was there. I would get hit up with these questions every day, and being there for 8 hours a day, it was very mentally draining for me, and I would go home really depressed. And I would ask myself, why am I at this job for? I can't handle that. I feel like I'm like someone's therapist, they're crying on my shoulder. I didn't know how to act to it. I wasn't there when it happened, but people assumed I was there, and I felt really bad that I wasn't there doing anything about it. But then again, what would I be able to have done? And so I worked at that job for 8.5 years, and it was different areas. I would patrol the whole Lower Manhattan area, but when I always got the World Trade Center, I would just get hit with the same questions from tourists all the time. So I have to say, the people, the construction workers, or whoever's the problems that they had down there, the whole rebuilding process took a very long time. I mean, we're 10 years in now, and they're not even halfway done. And it's a shame that they had all these. Apparently, they had design problems of different architectures. They were fighting over plans of how it was going to be designed, how it was going to look. Victims' families were actually going down there a lot protesting because they didn't want nothing to be built. They wanted it to be left the way it was. So you have all these people in the way, and the whole rebuilding process itself took a really slow time, and they still have a long ways to go. So I was looking at it the other day. Actually, I was down there like 2 days ago, and I was looking at it, and they have the Freedom Tower, they have somewhat a memorial, they have another museum over there as well. And I was just looking at it and wondering. First, I was thinking about all the times I used to work down there and what I had to go through, and then I'm thinking as just a regular pedestrian and as a New Yorker of like, wow, this is a crazy experience that we all went through. I think a lot of New Yorkers, they did move on from what happened in 9/11, and I think a lot of people also had a tendency to forget what happened, because how I felt like too many tourists were going down there, and it just turned into like a tourist attraction, and then people forget, lots of people died in the area, and I used to get really frustrated with people coming at me wanting to take pictures, and like it's like a fucking, no, I mean, I know it was like a really big moment in America's history, but it really pissed me off that people want to take pictures and do this and that. I mean, I didn't know how to react. Like I wasn't smiling when I was down there. I didn't want to be like in a good mood, because I felt like I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone that was out there that had lost loved ones. And I don't know, I just thought to myself, that area in general is very congested all the time with just people, traffic. They have such a long ways to go with the rebuilding process, but I still can't believe that it's been 10 years. 10 years. And recently we got a couple of terrorist threats happening, and it seems like we always get terrorist threats here in New York City. That's another thing that really freaking pisses me off and annoys me, because we constantly get these terrorist threats. It's going to always be a constant reminder of the world we live in, especially in New York City. We're going to always be under fire, under alert, in the terrorist zone. And we recently got 2 threats, basically about car bombings and bridges and tunnel bombings. So we all have to be on alert. The mayor went on television, did a press conference and everything. So, at my job right now, they had me on a special assignment, basically. I'm like in the front lobby by the door, checking everyone's bags as they go through, just for like security precautions, to be more extra, more alert. And I'm looking at cars on the street as well to see what's, suspicious, what's not suspicious. So, everyone has to be on high alert. And it's unfortunate that we have to be on high alert, but, I mean, I don't want to give my personal opinion on this, but I feel like the terrorists are, I mean, I hate to be a downer, but I just feel like they're never going to stop. They're not going to quit trying to hurt people, and New York will always be that target, and it's like a matter of when they're going to strike again. And I hate to say that, but I always feel that way. But 9/11 is here, and I just wanted to pay our respects to all the people that lost their loved ones and friends and families. And every time the ceremony happens, and I always watch it, or when I was down there working, I actually used to work down there as well when the ceremony was going on, and just see all the firemen and people, different firemen from different states and police from different states, and all coming down together, and the victims' families being there, and it's always like that somber mood, and it's just, I don't know, I never know what to think about it, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on it, and I want to ask everybody else too, what do you all think about the anniversary of 9/11? 10 years. It's been 10 years, and I just can't believe it's been that long already. But once again, I just want to pay my respects to everyone that lost loved ones at that night, unfortunately, but that day. But the 9/11 is something that we should always remember. I don't think people should forget about it, even though some people, I think, have a tendency to forget about it. But we need to remember what happened during that day, and we need to focus on getting those people that want to hurt us, and basically do what we have to do to make sure that doesn't happen ever again. But in the world we live in, it just seems like one tragic event after another, and there's so many bad people out there, so many evil people out there that want to hurt us. It's just scary to think about. But once again, 10th anniversary of 9/11 is here, and just want to give my condolences. So let me all know what you all think. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.